We're back talking thoroughbred horse racing on the new Proline TV YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Greg DePalma. Joining me, of course, is Jon Hardoon from the Raggers and Sheets. How's it going, John?
Good. Happy Thanksgiving to you and all the listeners as well.
Absolutely. This is day after Thanksgiving, so we are still working because thoroughbred racing never stops. So when are they off? Are they off like one day a year?
No, Santa Anita closes down like 10 days before Christmas. Naira and Aqueduct will probably close the last week of the year. So we have a little break coming up. But then you have Oaklawn starting and Gulfstream. So not full days off, but a few tracks take some time off.
Yeah, next week isn't going to be too bad either. I know there are a couple of races that are on tap. So we'll definitely have something for next week. And then, again, we'll let you know as soon as we can if we have if there's going to be another week off between now and end of the year based on the fact there just aren't any good races. We'll let you know. Next week, matter of fact, looking at it, it's a big day at Aqueduct next Saturday. You've got 3 grade 2s, including the Cigar Mile and the Remsen. So
those are serious races.
What are they?
Those are serious races.
Okay, there you go. So it's even though it's December next week, we are going to still be here talking about some really good racing. We got some really good racing to talk about on the show today. Tomorrow at DelMar, we've got a couple of nice races, very good wagering races, races 7 and 9, and that is the Seabiscuit and the Hollywood Derby. Big fields at DelMar. How about that?
Big fields and terrific betting races. You really picked out 2 terrific races for the show today, Greg. So hopefully we're right because
hopefully
the favorites in both of those races extremely vulnerable, in my opinion, and I think we have a shot to make some money.
Yeah, and also want to give a good luck shout out to Chad, who has his horse Filoso running in Churchill Downs on Saturday, and that is going to be race 11. The Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes. It's a grade 2. So this is a 2-year-old. He's got Filoso. We've talked about him on this show before. We didn't have a chance to talk to him on his last race because that's when I was going through my hurricane tribulations. But anyway, hopefully he'll rebound from that poor showing in the grade 1 race at Keeneland.
It wasn't that bad a race. He finished 3rd. And the good thing about this horse is he's supposed to get better with distance. So that's what Chad was saying since he was a baby. Now he's going to get his opportunity to show it. And I think you get Derby points for this race as well. So it's an important race all around. And I wouldn't be surprised if he made another forward move. He has a shot, certainly, to hit the board.
Yep, he's a closer. So hopefully he'll get a fast pace out there. Jonathan's Way is a good horse, so I believe that's the favorite. And
but something happened to Jonathan's Way last race in the Breeders' Cup. He never showed up. Was it the 2 turns? Last time was the first time he won 2 turns. Maybe he doesn't want to go that far. He had no excuse, really. And Saturday's race is 2 turns as well. So it's going to be an interesting race there. Actually, I liked a little bit of a price horse. If you want me to give it out to the listeners, I gladly will.
Go ahead.
What race was it?
That's race 11.
Yeah, okay. So in that race, the interesting horse to me was the 4 Dapper Moon. Lightly raced horse from the Dallas Stewart barn. Only 4 career starts, but he is getting better. He has a race at Churchill last time out, around 2 turns, and that's the situation here. He's going to have certainly a conditioning edge because his last 2 races have both been around 2 turns, and he is getting better. He's a price horse in the race that I would be very interested in playing, the 4 Dapper Moon. There you go. We threw in another freebie.
Yeah, there you go. The only thing that hopefully will work in Chad's favor is the fact that Dapper Moon ran he's got 18-15, and he ran a race it's actually should be about a month, so that's actually not that.
Off of that line he can make a forward move.
And
I think he's going to do it, and he's going to be the value. He's going to be the value in the race.
All right, so there you go. That's going to go off about 5:45 on Saturday, so check it out. Chad's Filoso horse there that we're keeping the fingers crossed on, the 2-year-old. So we'll see how he fares. Okay, so don't forget we're going to have a free pick. And by the way, I believe this is the last free pick. This is it for Patreon. So that doesn't mean that we're going away on Patreon. Again, if you want to maintain your membership on Patreon, it's only $5 a month. And we will add some sort of programming there. Trust me. If we see that there's members there, we'll figure out something because we're not going away with that. That's something that we want to keep for the long term. But that'll be it. And then once we hit December, everything is basically going to be mostly here on YouTube. And we're going to, of course, be moving everything over to the new channel, Proline TV, which is going to have everything on it. So you want to subscribe to Proline TV because of the fact that, I mean, we're going to be talking. Matter of fact, I got an F1, a Formula One show I got to do in about an hour that we're posting on the channel. Football, NFL, college, NASCAR, golf, everything in sports, NBA, college basketball, hockey. So that's why we're going to really hope to be part of that.
How do you find that? How do you find that? Because not everyone's as computer savvy as other people, especially players.
I'm going to put a link in the description. So we'll put it in 2 different areas. So it'll be on the comment section and it'll also be in the description area. And if you just want to find it out, it's Proline TV. That's it. Proline, Proline TV. So there you go. All right. Race 7, Seabiscuit Handicap, $200,000 3-year-olds and up. This will go off about 6:30. So, hey, you can do the Churchill race we just talked about. Hopefully, Chad wins, and you got a half hour to get ready for this one or so. Anyway, this has got three morning line favorites up there, the 7, the 3, and the 10, John. And as you said, at least 2 of the 3 are vulnerable. The 10 might be the interesting one out of the 3, but just quickly go over those. Or actually, let's just go over those. So we'll start in order. SEAL Team, the 7-2 shot, has just 1 race since November, and that was a 9 last month, and he had never run. That's a new 4-point top. So right there, and he didn't race very well either. He didn't have a good race. But anyway, that seems a little bit tricky to me, especially for a morning line favorite.
Well, he did have a good race because he ran a 9, which was 5 or 6 points faster than he's ever run before. He may not have had a good race, if you look in the form where he ran 5th. But if you're looking at sheets, he ran well. Problem with this horse is, where's he going off the 9? He's 7-2. It's 1 number. He would have to repeat it to possibly get a chance in here. There are horses that are much longer prices that have consistently run faster numbers. So I don't really want SEAL Team. Same thing goes for the 7, Redistricting. That's a Chad Brown horse shipping in from New York to run at DelMar. Usually those horses have success shipping in from the East Coast. But that being said, at 3-1, he's slow. He's never even run a single digit. The best he's ever run is an 11. He did have trouble last time out, and it's Chad Brown and Flavian Pratt, so obviously they can move forward. But there is no edge in playing this horse at 3-1.
As a matter of fact, the October race last month was his first race since December at DelMar when he ran in the Hollywood Derby, which we're going to talk about next. Something happened to him there, and that made him miss all that time. And then he came back and he ran at 11, which I guess is just okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But at 3-1, why would we risk it at that number?
Not when you have horses with 7, 8s, and 9s in the race.
Yeah.
You don't want that horse. And he's going to be short because of the connections. Chad Brown and Flavian Pratt, everybody bets those guys. So there you go.
But again, just like you're off to say, could he win? Yes, he could. Definitely. But the fact is, it is not a good
no edge in playing that horse.
No edge. Now the 10, that's different. Al Menderes, the 4-1 shot with Red Ortiz Jr. on board, because you like the fact that he's got wins at DelMar. He's 1-for-1 at the distance. And in 4 races this year, they're all single digits, including his last 2 stops at DelMar when he ran a couple of 9s.
Yeah, the interesting thing is Pratt rode him last time out and opts for the 7 horse. Well, I guess that's because it's Chad Brown. That's why he's switching. But the line is really nice on the 10. He's really never done anything wrong. 9, 9, 7. The only thing about him is that he is breaking from a tough post, the outside post, going 1 mile and 1/16 at DelMar, not an optimum post position. But that being said, I'm going to include him for sure with whoever I decide to key, but I'm not keying off of him because I think we have better options at bigger prices.
All right. Well, let's start at the top. You got Fast Buck, a 20-1 long shot that is also not the worst idea in the world to hit the board, because he's got a grade 1 win. That was last May, running an 8. And this year he does have 2 9s, including a 9 his last time out. Is this a long shot that you want to consider?
No. He's 6 years old. He's got 14 lifetime starts, and he's never been long. So he's never been beyond 6.5 furlongs. Saturday's 1 1/16. When you get a horse that hits the age of 6 and he's never been 2 turns, well, unless he's 1,000,000 to 1, I really don't want him.
All right, now number 2, Sumter. This looks like a good play at 8-1. You have Mike Smith on board, who was on board the last time, and it looks like it might have been the first time with this horse, and got a win. So he's going to go 2 for 2, hopefully. Now, he ran a 10 in this race last year. He was actually going wire to wire from the pole position, but then he faded down the stretch and finished 4th. So, and he ran a 10 in that race, which isn't bad. Now, since then, if you look at it, the very next race, he ran a 10 in January, and then all the other races were 7, 8, and 9s.
This horse is fine. As a matter of fact, the regular listeners of this show know we gave this horse out the last time he ran, when he got his first win in a long time, and we did give him out. I think he paid $10 and change that day. Okay. There's nothing wrong with this horse. He's 8-1. I'm certainly using him.
The 3 we talked about. Now, the 4, now this is like that classic sheets versus form, because you're looking and you're going, wait a second, why is this horse 15-1 when, if you look at his racing pretty much from the beginning of his career all the way through, or at least even on the form, if you look at January 23 through November of a couple weeks ago, he's done nothing wrong. He's kind of improved each time on these turf races. Matter of fact, his last 2 races were a 9 and a 7. Both were wins. That's pretty impressive, coming off a 7 at DelMar. But if you look at it, you're going, oh, I see. Okay, he's racing a lot of optional claiming races, and he's going up against big-time horses. So is that what we're dealing with here? Is that why this horse is 15-1? And the fact that he's coming off a 2-week layoff only?
He's 15-1 for the reasons you said. People think he's cheap and doesn't belong with these horses. The problem, though, he does belong with these horses. The problem is he doesn't belong with these horses Saturday, because he's coming off of a big race just 2 weeks ago, and he looks like he has to react off of it. If he had a little more time, I would really like this horse, but he doesn't. So for that reason, the fact that he's back on a quick turnaround is the reason I'm playing against him.
Yeah, and we would definitely, especially at 15-1, not say to not wager on this horse if you're thinking of doing it. Especially,
we don't tell anyone not to wager on any horse if they're only here to get ideas. I mean, obviously, you bet your opinion. It's your money, So put up back your own opinion before you back anyone else's. Is the way I look at it.
That's it. All right. Now, the 5 is another interesting long shot at 15-1, Astronomer, because Astronomer at DelMar in July ran a 5. Now, he's been kind of up and down this year. 7 in April, then a 13, then the 5 at DelMar, then the 11 the next race, then back to a 9. But you're getting 15-1 on a horse that ran a 5 just a few months ago.
Yeah, I'm using this horse for sure. The 13 was off the top of the 7. The 11 was off the top of the 5. So both of those races he expected to bounce. He rebounded a little last time running the 9. Now he's got plenty of time. He's an absolute must-use on my tickets.
Okay, the 6 is Mi Hermano Ramon. And this is a horse that, if you look at the sheets, you're like, okay, they're pretty nice. He's gone up from March through of last year through October last month, where he ran a bunch of 15s to end last year. Took some time off. Matter of fact, he did not race from June till August. Came back at DelMar at this distance and ran an 11. Then he improved to a 9 in the next race, which is exactly what you want to see. But what really jumps off the screen to me is you got an 11 and a 9 this year, which is pretty compatible to the rest of the horses. And you've got the hottest trainer in the meet. I mean, this guy, Mark Ladd, is gone just on fire. along with maybe the hottest jockey in the meet. So I'm definitely using this horse.
Well, he certainly has a shot, and you make good points. Marcolet has absolutely been on fire, and Hector Barrios is riding that turf course as good as anybody else. Listen, I had him, but how many horses could I use underneath? That's the problem. If he's long enough, obviously, if he's anywhere near this price, you could use him.
All right. So next up, we have 8 Easter. And there's another interesting, good horse to take a look at 8-1, because if you look all the way back to July of last year, everything is single-digit sheet numbers from a 7. I mean, and everything's consistent from 7s to 8s to 9s. The only thing is, and he gets a couple of grade 2 wins too. By the way, in the 3 races at this distance, he has a 7, a 7, and a 9. That's also very good. 2 7s. The only thing is what's gone on in the last 3 races. I'm not sure what's happened there result-wise, but sheet number-wise, this is a must-play, isn't it?
This is my key in the race. I mean, he never runs a bad race. True, he hasn't gotten back to the 7 in his last 3 races, but I think he's going to run it. He never runs a bad race. He's 8-1. You're getting Antonio for a sou. There's no question. This is the horse that I'm betting.
The 9 did run an 8 in July, but besides that, looks slow.
I don't like him.
And again, we talked about the 10. And then the 11 and the 12 also look slow.
Yeah, they don't belong.
All right.
Here's the way I'm playing it. I'm using Easter as my key in exactas. I'm certainly using the 2 Sumter, the 5 Astronomer. You could use your 6 Mi Hermano and the 10. 8 with the 2, 5, 6, 10. Plenty of room. Reverse those exactas as well. If the 8 is anywhere near the price of 8-1, you want to make some sort of one bet.
I'm going to go ahead and take the 6. So I'm going to go. I like hot trainers and jocks and stuff.
Well, it's not a bad way to play, but go ahead. 6.
Yeah, and then I obviously I liked all those other horses you talked about. So you can put all the other horses in my exactas as well. I'll go 6 on top. You've got 8 on top over 2, 5, 6, and 10. Okay, so that is race number 7 at DelMar. Now we're going to talk about race number 9, and this is the big race of the weekend, and that is the Hollywood Derby. Mile and an eighth. This is a $300,000 purse for 3-year-olds. This is going to go off about 7:30 Eastern. Keep that in mind. There's only one top favorite in the race, morning line favorite, and that's the 4. Carson's Run. It's a 3-1 shot with 2 grade 1 wins, coming off a grade 3 win at Aqueduct in October. And the line is really solid because he just keeps getting better from a 21 last July all the way up to 9, and matter of fact, back-to-back 9s in back-to-back grade 3 races. This horse also ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf race, as you can see. Won the Summer Stakes. That's a grade 1, as we mentioned. Also won a grade 1 race at Saratoga. What do you think about the morning line favorite, Carson's Run?
He's okay, but he's not. You can't bet him. You could use him, but there's just too many juicy horses at big prices that you should key before you use. I mean, again, Carson's Run could certainly win. Dylan Davis comes in to ride. Dylan Davis has ridden this horse in two of his last 3 races, winning both of them last time out and 2 starts back. Both times Dylan Davis was aboard. But at 3-1, I have to try to beat him.
Yeah, matter of fact, on the forum, he's got 4 wins on the horse.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Carson's Run, definitely we can see why he's the favorite. Let's go around the rest of the field. The 1 is Stay Hot, an 8-1 shot. I was looking at the sheet numbers, of course, and I don't see anything special. I was wondering why he was 8-1, and then I realized, all right, well, if you look at it, he's been very strong as far as winning races and finishing second in even in these grade 2 races. But I think there are other options. He does look pretty good at DelMar. What about the 1 Stay Hot?
He's what we call reverse buried. He looks good in the form, but not on the sheets. I mean, he's never run a single digit. I don't like this horse at all. And he gets bet every week. Last week, he went off the favorite when he finished second, or last time he ran, I should say. I'm beating this horse. I don't like this horse at all.
Okay, the 2 is Rothschild, and we all immediately we have an interesting long shot. Pratt gets on board, so that's an instant upgrade. And what you like here is the fact that in the 3 previous races before the 15 last time out, you ran a 9, an 8, and a 10. And again, you got Pratt now at 15 to 1.
This is my top selection. I love this horse. To be a success in horse racing and gambling, you have to be willing to forgive and forget. Last time out, we loved this horse, and he was horrible. He didn't run a step. But if you look at the internal fractions that day, and he had a bad ride, they went slow. He had no pace to close into. That's why you see the P in front of the 15. I'm willing to absolutely draw a line through that race. And then I go back to the 2 previous races, the 9 and the 8. If he runs either one of those, he's got a hell of a shot of winning. And I love the rider switch today to Pratt. And I love the 15 to 1 on the morning line. So again, I'm willing to forgive and forget the last race. And if you go back to his 2 and 3 starts back, either one of those 2 races puts him right there. The price is right. And the jockey will make the difference here.
All right, Rothschild, 15 to 1. We'll see if we get 15 to 1 since it's Pratt on board, but hopefully we will. All right, next up, we got a slow horse, correct? The 3?
He's slow, but, you know, I wish you didn't need a 9 or an 8 to win this race, because if you look at this race last year, he ran a 16, his only turf race. And at that point in his career, he was running 18s and 22s. So when he hit the grass, look at the big jump up. Now as a 3-year-old, she's so much better. She's running 13. So if she makes that same improvement on Saturday that she did last year when she tried the grass for the first time, well, that puts her in the 10 and 11 range. Just an idea, maybe somewhere in the bottom of your tries or supers at a huge price.
All right. Well, the jockey that's on board is the same one that didn't do a good job with Rothschild the last time out, but that's just a coincidence.
This guy's a good rider.
It's a coincidence.
He rides at Woodbine most of the year. Listen, Rothschild last time out didn't matter who was on him. The horse just did not run. Again, draw a line through it. He had a bad day at the office.
All right. Well, we'll see. Does that mean that you're just gonna forget about the 3 and or you're gonna I'll throw $2 on him at least to make sure if he wins I got something.
Well, all right, whatever.
All right. Here comes we did the 4. All right, the 5, King of Gosford, 5 to 1 shot with Red Ortiz Jr. on board, coming off a win. This horse, as a matter of fact, has got 4 wins in his last 7, 8 starts or so. If you look at the sheet numbers, though, of course, he's coming off a 9 at DelMar in the win. That was with Pratt on board. He's got another good one on board in a Red Ortiz Jr. He's 5 to 1. No, it's a little bit of a short price.
But he's never done anything wrong. He ran 10s earlier this year. He ran a 12 first-time distance at DelMar 3 starts back, time off 11, time off 9. So he's never gone backwards. And now he's got some more time off. I am using this horse underneath.
Okay, next up is 6, Formidable Man. 3 for 3 at DelMar, 2 for 3 at this distance, but he only has 1 single digit. That was the 9 at DelMar, a couple of starts back. He's got back-to-back wins. What about Formidable Man at close to 5 to 1?
Not at 9 to 2. I think the price is too short.
Yeah, just 1 single digit and surrounded by 14s, 13s, 18s. Yeah. The 7 is Donegal Momentum, a 6 to 1 shot with Castellano on board. And he's got 3 wins in 5 starts. He went wire to wire in his win the last time out, ran an 11. He doesn't have any single digits yet. He does have 4 11s.
Yeah, but he's not long enough. He's only 6 to 1, and he would need to run a 9 or better. So I'm not interested.
A Titilan is 8 to 1. The 8. Sheriffs is the trainer, and this horse looks slow. This was the horse that I was wondering, why is this horse 8 to 1 when he's run 14s and 16s?
Because he won the Twilight Derby last time out at Santa Anita on the turf, which was a grade 2 stake, but he won it with a slow number. He's reverse buried. I don't want him.
The next horse, the 9, also looks slow.
Yes.
Okay, let me get over here. Stuck my pages. Got so many pages here in this race.
Well, you picked races with full fields. That's good.
All right, the 10 also looks low, even though he's coming off 3 11s and 4 11s in his last 5, which is better than some of these other horses, to tell you the truth. But
he's 30-1. The problem with these horses, the rest of the field, actually, they're all outposted. Post 10, post 11, post 12, post 13. They don't have a single digit. How are they supposed to get it in?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I didn't really put a marker on most of these because there was really nothing. You know, most of them are slow and they're outside.
Exactly.
I guess out of all the ones that are outside, though, the 10 looks like the better one.
He does, but again, there are faster horses drawn inside. Listen, if he's long enough, throw him in.
Yeah, so actually, the 10 and I'm going to write a note here. The 3 and the 10 long shots.
Bombs.
Yeah, why not? All right, so there you go. So you got the 2. That's your Rothschild.
Yes, exact is over the 4, the 5, and the 7, and obviously you could throw in those other big ones for a couple of dollars. But I'm keying the 2 Rothschild. If I get anywhere over 8-1, I'll be betting this horse to win as well.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead then, and I'm going to do the 4, but I'm going to do the long shots. Obviously, I'm doing Rothschild for sure, and I'm going to throw in those long shots. I'm going to do 4 over 2, 3, and 10.
There you go.
So anyway, that is it for our YouTubers, and John gave you a bonus pick as well. And
hit subscribe. Hit subscribe.
Hit subscribe. Both for here at Proline TV, and again, we're going to keep posting on our horse racing channel because we want to keep reminding you to subscribe there as well. Hey, you know what? We've got a nice horse racing channel. We just want to keep there. So. What we'll do is we'll post these shows early, and then maybe on race day, I'll post them on the horse racing channel for a little bit. So anyway, we're out of here on YouTube. Next up is our Patreon free pick. So we'll see everybody next week when we have some really good racing from Aqueduct.